Hi there, my name is George. If you know even a little AutoCAD, you can draw this object in both 2D and 3D in under 10 minutes. Let me show you how. That's the purpose of this tutorial. What you are seeing on the screen now is my 2D drawing and the solid model drawing of the object. And you can tell by the UCS icon in the lower left corner that we are now in paper space. With the erase command, I'm going to remove or erase the two viewports. Right now, the Layout 1 button is activated, but I want to get back into model space, so I'm going to click on the Model button, which is in the lower left part of the screen. I'm going to type E-enter for erase, then type ALL so as to erase everything on the model space screen. Now I shall proceed to make the 2D drawing. I'm going to type L, enter to produce a line, pick a point, move the mouse up, type 2, enter. I'm going to move the mouse to the right and type 3, enter. I'm going to move the mouse down, 2, enter. Move the mouse to the left, type C to close. Now I'm going to type O, enter so as to offset a line. I'll type O, enter, then 1, enter. I'll select the vertical line on the left and pick a point to the right. I'm going to hit escape. Now I'm going to type CO, enter so as to copy the entire object. Make a window, select it, and drag it down about there. I'm going to use the offset command again, so I'll type O, enter. I'll type 1 again. I'll select from the front view on the bottom horizontal line and pick a point above it. And hit enter or escape to get the command line free once more. The next command, I think I'll use the fillet with a radius of 0. So I'm going to type F, enter, R, enter. I notice that the radius is 0, so I'll accept it. Then I'll pick my first two lines like that, hit enter to repeat the command, select another two lines, hit enter to repeat the command one more time. Actually, the 2D drawing is complete. However, I've got to put on dimensions. I'll do that now. After I finish dimensioning the object, I created a new layer called Solid and made it current. And I gave it a different color, red. Now I'm going to use AutoCAD's rectangle command and make two rectangles from the top view and move them to the right. It is the two red rectangles on the right which are going to be the basis for creating the solid. At this point, we're going to move into the southeast isometric view and then extrude the two parts 1 inch in height. So I'm going to type EXT, enter, and select both red rectangles, enter, and type 1, enter. The next thing to do is to select the small solid and move it on top of the large solid. So I'm going to type M, enter, select the solid at that point, and put it up there. Now I'll use AutoCAD's union command, make a window which will combine both pieces together. This would seem to be an appropriate time to add some shading to the solid, so I'll click on the Visual Styles toolbar and add some color to it. Now I'm going to select the top view, or plan view as it's called. At this point I'm going to click on the Layout button so as to get back into Paperspace so that we can view the drawing properly. As you can see, I had already created a couple of rectangular blocks that can be used as a guide for when I create the two viewports. Therefore, what I'll do now is to type MVIEW to create a viewport. Select one corner on the large viewport, and then I'll do the same. Hit enter to repeat the command and make another viewport. Actually, you can have up to 15 viewports, I believe, on one drawing. Now I'm going to double click inside the small viewport, and I'm going to switch to the southeast isometric view. This will give me the opportunity to pan and then zoom to enlarge the object. Now I have to double click outside the viewport to get back into Paperspace. The next thing to do is to click on the outside of the large viewport. Then I'm going to click on the Properties icon so that we can set a proper scale for that viewport. So I go down to Miscellaneous where it says Standard Scale, click on the arrow. I'm going to do this at 1/2 scale. Then I'm going to double click inside the large viewport again. It should be noted that even though you print a drawing in Paperspace at 1:1, you may have portions of the drawing which want to be at a different scale. In this case, I would want the 2D drawing to be printed at 1/2 scale. That's why I selected the 1/2. Alright, so I've double clicked inside the viewport. Now I can pan so as to hide the solid model in this viewport. And once again, I double click outside the viewport. I should also mention that when I started the drawing, I created a layer called viewports, which is the color blue. And what I'm going to do is to select these two viewports now, and I'm going to go to the layer, go to the Properties icon, and change the layer from solid to viewports. You'll notice that the two viewports will now look blue. I'll hit escape. The reason I did that was because I want to take those two viewport rectangles and freeze them. So I'm going to once again select both of the viewports, go to the layer dialog box. Now I can freeze it. The drawing, although simple, it is now complete. If you enjoyed this and you want more drawings to try for yourself, you might search YouTube MD Guide for more. If you have any questions, you can write me at ashcad@comcast.net. And I want to thank you for watching.